celebrity stories tonight, and I have a little bit of everything, if you can tell by my mishmash table there. And I don't even have my gum ready. I think I'll change it up. I'm gonna have rainbow eyes, although the Girl Scout is my favorite. Where's the gum I'm chewing tonight, by the way? Rainbow Eyes Gourmet Sugar-Free Chewing Gum. And though I love this candle, this is my favorite smelling candle. It never shows up well on the video. I think we're stuck with the eucalyptus verbena. I brought out a new matchbox. The other night, I was watching a video from a valley girl. I call her a valley girl. She's my age. I think she grew up in Burbank. That really is in the valley. So she shared a very cool story about the guy on Starsky and Hutch, Paul Michael Glaser, I think I have his name right. It jogged my memory of a celebrity story I want to share with you guys, but before we get Lisa Marie Presley back in the day when she was married to Danny Keough. She had her first 2 kids. I think she had a boy and a girl with him. And I'm going to tell you about Lisa Marie and her husband Danny. And then I'm going to tell you Priscilla Presley's story that I may have shared already. I can't remember. And then I'll tell you about Lori's story she shared with Michael Glazer, because she's such a Valley girl, and there's so much about her I like. I think it's the familiarity that we grew up in the same area. Technically, in my mind, technically I'm not a Valley girl. I did not grow up in the San Bernardino Valley. I grew up in Santa Susana. Back in the day, it was called Santa Susana, California, which today newcomers wouldn't know that Santa Susana was the far east side of Simi Valley. So today, there is no Santa Susana city name. It's all Simi Valley. However, it has 2 zip codes, and the one zip code, 93065, is the west side of Simi Valley. And if you have a zip code 93063, that's considered the east side, the far side, and that's where we grew up. And we were at the foot of the pass, which back in the day, there was no freeway to get us from Santa Susana into LA. You had to go over the hill. This is good times. You had to go over the hill. Everybody said, where are you going? Oh, over the hill, over the hill. So we knew you were going into the valley or beyond. LA. So in my mind, I was always a wannabe Valley girl. Never technically what really was a real one. But because we were the last little neighborhood before you went into the valley, I always thought like I was a Valley girl. So, and then that over the pass road where you had to go through to get over the hill into the valley and beyond was the Rocky Peak Pass. And that's where, remember I told you about my Charles Manson story? Because that's where the Spawn Ranch was, on the Rocky Peak Road. And we must have passed Spawn Ranch, I don't know how many times, because we would go over the hill like at least once or twice a week. Either to visit relatives or just to go shopping in the valley to Bank of Plaza Mall. So anyways, I'll tell you my story, and then I'll briefly tell you about Lori's story. She has a fun little non-ASMR channel. Her channel is 49, the number 49. It's all one word. The letter 49, L as in Louisiana, Davis, like Nancy Davis, who married Ronald Reagan. 49, L Davis. If you're interested, she does tons of designer purses, and she has a cute little puppy dog, and she does like Hang With Me Monday, and oh my goodness, she's a fingernail enthusiast, and she's really good at decorating fingernails and painting fingernails. What else does she do? Anyways, so this was a Mother's Day back my kids were little, so I believe it was the late 90s or early 80s. But I don't remember, my kids were little, and it was a Mother's Day weekend, or, excuse me, and for some reason, it was a lonely weekend for me because I believe my husband was away that weekend on military training, and my mom and the whole rest of my siblings, they had a special plan, and so somehow I didn't have anywhere to be special on that Mother's Day. And I had found out Lisa Marie Presley's address to her home in, I believe, Reseda. I always get like Reseda and Tarzana mixed up, but I believe it was Reseda, right off of Ventura Boulevard. Oh my goodness. Right off. All you did was you went up Ventura Boulevard. You came from, I got off on Topanga Plaza, I'll never forget. You go on Ventura Boulevard, driving towards LA. I forgot what street it was. Might have been Reseda. I can't remember. But made a right, and you went down a few streets and you made a left, and there was her house. Like you would never think she lived there. And the reason I was privy to all this Elvis Presley related information is, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I was the Elvis fan. Like, oh, I was the over-the-top Elvis fan. I was like an active member of a local LA fan club. And so I think I was a member of 2 fan clubs, a local one. I totally forgot the name of it now. This was in the early 90s, early to mid 90s. I was like a member also of the Blue Hawaiians fan club, Sue Wigard. Oh my goodness, she was even though I never got to meet her personally, what a lovely lady she was, as she shared her Elvis, her precious Elvis stories with us. And she was a total Elvis groupie, that she was everywhere. She was, when he filmed movies, she was there on the movie site. She has, like, remember the 8mm movie? Oh my goodness. She would show us her 8mm movies, and we would say, we'd have a meeting and they'd be up on the wall. I am telling you, you guys, the 8mm movies, even though there was no talking, it was like Elvis was right there in the room. It was more real than actually watching him on the movie camera or TV movie. I could not believe it. To this day, I still, like, though I have long gotten over the fanaticism of being an Elvis Presley fan, I still in my mind think, how handsome, like, how could somebody be that handsome? And not only was he that handsome, but he could dance and sing. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so at one of the fan clubs, I was able to get Lisa Marie's address, and it was a Mother's Day, and I think I was kind of feeling sorry for myself. And I ended up at her house with like a Mother's Day, just like a happy Mother's Day. That's how fanatic of a fan I was when I think back on it. Like, I would never do that today. sure enough, bigger than beans, I pull up, and it's a beautiful home in the valley. And I know that area, and they do sell for pretty pricey homes in the valley. And it was an unassuming place, and it had kind of like a big front yard. It seemed like it was a normal neighborhood, but they were huge yards in the front. I could tell it was a super old neighborhood because the valley is super old. And I opened the latch, went up, and I had like a cute little thing of flowers with, I forgot what it was, a card. It was Happy Mother's Day. Knocked on the door. This is so crazy. When I think of it, I cannot believe I did that. And her husband just answered the door. I said, hi, and I did have my little girls with me. And I said, I would just wanted to say Happy Mother's Day. And when he opened the door, the home was situated such that, like right in the foyer there, then in the back of the foyer, the whole wall was total glass, like sliding door glass, with a huge big pool. Like, so when you opened the front door, you could see the huge pool. It was pretty. And he smiled, and it was totally Danny Keogh. It's just, you could tell because you saw the pictures. And he smiled, and I handed him the stuff to give to Lisa. And he said, and if she's home, we want to say Happy Mother's Day. And he said, oh, she's not here. I said, okay, well, thank you. And we left. I cannot believe I did that. I would not do that today. Isn't that crazy? So I was reminded of that story because of 49 L. Davis. She shared her story. And then let me tell you really quick the Priscilla Presley story. I went with a friend of mine. She lived in West Covina. And somewhere in the 1990s, Priscilla Presley had a line of perfume that came out. And just like when somebody makes a book or has a book come out, they have like signings at bookstores. So Priscilla Presley had her line of perfume come out, and the fan club knew way ahead of time that she was going to be at a signing at a Macy's, one of the big famous malls with the big anchor department stores, which I believe at the time, I do think it was a Macy's, or excuse me, it was not Macy's. I believe it was Bullock's. Do you guys remember that department store, Bullock's? For some reason, I'm almost positive it was a Bullock's at like a major mall somewhere out by where she lived. But it was closer to her house than here, because we were so excited. And sure enough, we got there pretty early. We waited in line, and I'll never forget that. It was at that moment, meeting her, and she was not near as skinny, thin, and as gorgeous as what all the pictures always portray her as. And the one thing I remember is it was at that moment that I realized that I'm not going to gawk about celebrities anymore, because I remember going up, meeting her, and how nice she was, but you could tell she was a little nervous about the whole group of us there. And Elvis fans have a tendency to be mean to Priscilla, because I remember in the fan club, and I thought it was terrible, because I don't have that thought about her. They blame Priscilla Presley for Elvis's death because they feel that had she stayed married to him, he would still be alive. Now, that's terrible. It was terrible, terrible. But, so I'm sure she feels that. But, so she autographed my little perfume bag. And I had my perfume. And she was very lovely. But her hand, you could tell she was older, because her hands showed her age. And she was heavier. And her face, you could see a little bit of the stress in her face. And so as fun as that meeting was and exciting, I do also remember that as being the moment of truth for me. That, what am I doing with going gaga over all these movie stars or celebrities? So that was kind of a turning point for me. And the funny part is it seemed like after that time, when I kind of gave up autographs and, and picture taking and all that stuff, so you have like a picture with your celebrity or your autograph, it seemed like after that time, when I came to the realization how I didn't want to be that way. I didn't want to be that way towards celebrities. It seemed like that's when I started. That's when there was more celebrity stuff that came into my life. But, nothing big, but big enough to where there were a lot of stories to tell. So anyways, that's my Lisa Marie Presley celebrity story. So I didn't actually get to meet her. I got the next best thing to be. I got to be at her house and a little bit quick chit chat visit with her husband at the time, Danny Keogh, and it made for me a fun celebrity memory. Now the reason my memory got jogged to tell you about that was I was watching Lori Davis's channel when she shared, and I had the best time because I could, as she was sharing her story about Paul Michael Glaser from Starsky and Hutch, and as she was talking about the whole story, it was as if I was right there because we grew up in the same area here. We grew up with the same frenzy about movie stars because they were everywhere. And she's about my age. And at the time of her story, she was 14, and her two other friends, one friend had a car, so she was the driver. Then she had another friend, so that's how she was even able to participate, because her friend could drive and her friend had a car. And she is crazy about Paul Michael Glaser on Starsky and Hutch, and I think out of the two, I like him best because he's just a dark-haired, very good-looking guy. So somehow they got the urge to go to his house, and I don't remember how they knew about his whereabouts of his house. They didn't know the exact address, but they knew what street he lived on. So it was off of Laurel Canyon, I believe. One of those famous roads over there. And as she said, I go, oh my gosh, this is going to be a good story. And she's she's mentioning and describing where they were and the roads they went on. And he lived off of Laurel Canyon. And it was becoming such a familiar story for me, because I'm putting myself back in the day. And I believe it was the 70s that show was on. So what she did, I think, was even crazier than what I did. They got to the vicinity of his house, and they didn't know the exact address. I'm trying to remember how she even knew the vicinity. So the driver, one of the girls wouldn't get out of the car. I can't think it was the driver. But so Lori and her friends got out and went from door to door saying they were the niece. Paul Michael Glaser was their uncle, and they were the nieces, and they don't remember what house he lived in. And she was saying how 2 or 3 of their neighbors just ratted him out she said she went to like 2 or 3 of the houses, and they all ratted him out. What's this house? This is his house. And lucky her, they went up to the door, and he answered the door. And I know this is a true story. I know exactly. She is not making it up, because she had the exact fun look in her eyes as you're remembering like a celebrity story. When you're a local person recounting a celebrity story when you were a young teenager. Oh, and she also mentioned the magazines back in the day. You guys remember like Tiger Beat and Teen? Tiger Beat, I really remember. There were like at least 2 or 3, possibly 4, like Hollywood teen magazines. And she mentioned one of the magazines, and oh my goodness, it brought back such a fun memory. And she was recalling how she was so in love with Paul Michael Glacier, and that when the Tiger Beat or whatever magazine she mentioned, when it would come out, she had like every issue. And I know that feeling back in the 70s. So he comes to the door. I'm getting excited. See, even though it's not my celebrity story, it's such an exciting and like a real, like I understand the moment and the feeling that I could almost feel myself being there with her. She says he comes to the door, and he had a wonderful tan, and he was wearing white, I guess like jogging pants or pajama pants, and he had an awesome tan. And I even forgot what was the gist of the question that she asked him when he came to the door, but it was something about like that they're lost or they needed directions. Nothing about the fact that, hi, we're like fans, we really love your show. And all she could say was how nice and sweet he was. And that she even had thought in her mind that if she ever saw him again, that she would ask him, you remember the 2 starry-eyed girls coming to your door asking for directions? That's kind of funny, because who knows if they would remember. But for us, back in the day, in the 70s, when you're at like grammar school, junior high school, you're so movie star crazy, because it's all being filmed here. And I'll never forget the Partridge Family. Like when I first started watching the Partridge Family, I'll have to relook at the show again. There were so many familiar scenes. I think the very first one, they're driving the Partridge Family bus through downtown LA, and we would always go through there because we had relatives that lived in LA back in the day, and you couldn't just take the freeway and get there. You had to go through the valley. You had to go over the pass, which was Rocky Peak Road. You had to pass by Spawn Ranch, not knowing that Charles Manson and his group was there. Then you had to go up to Topanga Plaza, and you had to go up Devonshire. So there was such a familiarity when shows would come on. And you would know because you were there. So it just made us movie star crazy big time. So I don't know if these movie star magazines were sold everywhere. I don't know how it was for other parts of the country. But if you were a young person here in the Valley, LA area, back in the day when everything was filmed there, oh my goodness, I think that's why I kind of love the old shows, because like Columbo, oh my goodness, I love Columbo, but more so than the actual Peter Falk Columbo character is the scenery. I love seeing old shows. And then somehow, somewhere, things changed, and then a lot of stuff started being filmed in New York, obviously. obviously, and then Florida. But those were the good times when everything was just filmed here. Oh, and the Brady Bunch. This is so funny. Every once in a while they'll show like Mike's office. He was an architect, and they would show like the front of his architect office building. Or Marsha one time had to go to the dentist, or different things. And oh my gosh, to this day when I see the actual city streets of those shots, it is a fun moment. It just really put me back in it. Anyways, are you guys awake still? I hardly even really got into clipping it. I should probably do your comments. There's just a few, but it's so easy. See how I get carried away? How easy to get carried away. Whoops. So let's do, there's just a few. Last one was, Dirta Wilger, who sang, she, oops. She was talking about making your own salad dressing and mayo. How it does taste much better with less questionable ingredients. And next we have Creed Bratton. And Creed has the picture of Creed from The Office, another one of my favorite shows. Creed was kind of a cool, unusual character. I liked him too, very unique. And Creed writes from yesterday, I'm a black person that grew up in the early 80s, and the Little Rascals were cute, but they were racist as hell, and I know that nobody likes to hear that. But they were, especially with characters like Purina and Buckwheat. And that's a comment from a few days ago when I was talking about Kids Show. And you know what? Honesty, do you know my two most beloved characters? Now, Purina, I can't remember Purina. Maybe I'll have to rewatch it and see if I remember her. And the only two that I can remember are Spanky and Buckwheat. And I have to be honest and say, I just love those two characters. And I never thought of any racist things. You know, I just get so wrapped up in the cuteness. But Purina, I'm trying to think of Purina. I'm sure if I watched it again and paid closer attention, I would know. But I never think of anything bad. Like when I see Buckwheat, it's just the most precious little boy. And I think what I'm reminded of is when I see old shows from back then is like, thank goodness things have changed for the better. Now hopefully we've bettered ourselves. And when you think of Barack Obama as a president of the United States of America, you know that when I think of that, that is really an accomplishment, and I'm just so grateful for that. But I never think anything bad when I see that show. But Creed, thank you so much that you watch my channel. For comment, I really appreciate you, and I will keep my eye open for Purina. And Ryan Nichols, right? Oh, definitely do a video with that little water bottle. Is that a relaxing little water bottle? emery board killed me, like nails on a chalkboard. And I remember that you're the another person that said the same thing. No more emery boards, out of the blue. That's a no-no. Thank you, Lynn, for watching. And H. Miranda says, I guess you have good recipes for this, but I tried it 3 times and it's just bad and nothing like noodle. I could taste the difference on each bite, and my whole household ate it, and we trashed it each time. And she was writing that from the tofu. About 4 or 5 months ago, I made a recipe with tofu shirataki noodles. They were tofu, yes, so. And of course, I was addicted to them. Oh, I loved them. But you are right, H. Miranda. If you're really not into tofu, another secret is to rinse them and really wash them and kind of get the smell, the different juices away from it might help. But you're right. It's nothing like a noodle pasta, like a wheat or rice flour noodle pasta. But if you're into tofu and you already have a mindset toward that, like I do, to me it's delicious. Did I mention in the video to wash them and rinse it real well if you're not into tofu? But that does help. If you want to eat pasta and not have the calories, that's weight pasta. Tofu pasta is available. I really rinse it. Get the smell out and the water out, and that might help. But thank you for your comment, for watching. Vehicle Freak 409, so good. Thank you. The apple sounds are wonderful, and could I request another typing video? Those are my absolute favorite. And I hope you had a great day. Yes, I'm thinking of doing a typing video, because I have to finish my tax thing with the numbers. So I have to make like a spreadsheet. I might as well do it while making a typing video too. That'd be fun. Thank you, 409. And last but not least, we have J Jelly Gaming. From a typing video, it says, I got so sleepy watching this video. Thank you. Are you guys awake still? Okay. Well, now what do we do? Oh, I wanted to show you this. It was kind of interesting. I wish now I had more money from back in the 80s, I guess, before they changed their money. But look. This is from, where's the date on here? But look at the difference. This is 2006. I guess they must have changed it in 2006. It looks like it's the same date, unless I'm not reading it right. Isn't that kind of cool? They don't make this one anymore. It's kind of interesting. And so I don't know why they changed stuff all the time. And look, the same thing for the $20 bill. This is 1998 or 1996. 1996. And this is 2003 or 2013. I don't know. Interesting. Pretty interesting, I must admit. So I was going to Do you think it's true? You know, say every dollar, every paper money, every bill is laced with cocaine. Do you think that's true? Have you guys heard that? And then I forgot which one it is, but they say you fold the, it's either on the, it might be the $1 bill. You fold it a certain way, and it's an image of the Twin Towers burning. That's crazy. I don't know how they figure out these things. And then I never know if it's real or made up. I do love the sound of crinkling money, though. I think it's kind of cool. So, let's see. I don't know. I'm getting antsy for a Ritz. Oh, I had to call the internet, the cable company, because my internet is warped. And totally depressing. It's a phone company. We have phones, landline phone service, and internet. And so, about 3 or 4 months ago, when we had like terrible, terrible rain, something happened because the internet or the phone wire runs from the house into the street. It must have rained so hard that something happened. Something happened, and the phone has been busy ever since it rained so hard. So my guess is it rained so hard, the water slushing through underground disrupted the wires or the whatever. Alright. So I just did not want to deal with it, so I just didn't bother. But the last week or so, my internet has been extremely stressful. Never once did I think it was a bad internet connection. I thought I had like malware or like a terrible thing on my iPads and my cell phone. Because all this happened around the same time when I was trying to go live. Remember a week or two? I have a video on how to do live streaming. So somewhere in my brain, I was convinced that when I downloaded the Hangout, it's called Google Hangout. I had myself convinced that I got some kind of bad virus from because that's when it seemed to start. It started around the same time. The last week or so, week or two, I've had the worst internet. Definitely the last week, and definitely the last 2 days. I called yesterday. There was good news and bad news. The good news is they were able to see information like about the wires. I don't over the computer. I don't know how they could do that, but so that's the good news. And they said when the repair people come, they do not have to go in your house. And that's really good news. The bad news is they weren't able to give me an appointment, but they'll keep me posted. And the repair can take place if they have to go out to the actual resident. Sometimes, because sometimes they can fix once they have your order. A lot of times they can fix the problem remotely through their computers. Now that's very, very cool. So the bad news is it could happen right away, overnight, or worst case scenario, Saturday. So here we are. Today's Wednesday. Well, yesterday was Tuesday, so you can imagine how my mind just did flip-flop when they say the latest it could be fixed is Saturday. And I'm always thinking it's always the latest, just so I won't be more disappointed. So all day I kept thinking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days. And so what I'm able to do right now is I am able to upload my videos, thank goodness, right? And sites that are already ingrained in my iPad's history or memory or like history data. I can get to those sites easier. It just takes kind of a long time. But if I try to punch in like a new website that I've never been to before, forget it. It never gets there. So my internet is just hobbling along. Like I can't get to my Facebook. And I don't know why Facebook wouldn't come up, because that should be on my history. But Facebook, I can't get to Facebook. And then, here was the spooky part. I never once thought it was my internet connection outside from the street to the house. I was convinced, and because I'm having the same trouble on all 3 devices, my 2 iPads and my cell phone, and because it happened around the same time that I downloaded Google Hangouts, I was convinced my phone was infected and my iPads were infected with a virus, and my mind just went crazy, just the thought of that. Do you guys do anything special for Cinco de Mayo? I'm thinking it'll be even more fun this year because it's on a Friday. Cinco de Mayo's on a Friday. So you know they're going to make it a Cinco de Mayo weekend. How fun is that? Kind of funny because we have the best little Mexican supermarket. I call it like the Mexican 7-Eleven. I love it so much. And you know what's cool about it? It's like Cinco de Mayo every time I go in there. They have piñatas hanging from the ceiling. Piñatas is such a fun memory for me. When I see a piñata, it's a happy atmosphere. Piñatas for me. And the Mexican music is so beautiful. It's so fun. And I guess it's because growing up as a kid, back in the 60s, I guess I didn't know any different because we had the sweetest Mexican neighbors across the street. And my father, he grew up in East LA. I guess he had a ton of Mexican friends. And I didn't even see the difference. It was just part of our life. But because of them, they would always have piñatas. I don't know if I would have known about piñatas. And the music, they would have, when they would have a party, they would have music. I call it Mexican music, and I know that's not right. But they would have, like, the mariachi people. It was just so lovely. But so anyways, back to my story. See, you see how easy it is for me to do a rambling video. So, every time I go into that little Mexican supermarket, it is like going back in my childhood. There's the piñatas and the music. And it's just a good time for me. And a lot of times, I'll go in there and I won't even have to do grocery shopping. While I'm in there, I'll just run in there to get the burritos. They have like their own little kitchen in there and make homemade burritos. And so I'll just go in there for that. And that's a whole other fun memory in itself, the delicious Mexican food. Which reminds me, I need to do that. Do you remember the other day, was it yesterday, I was doing call Linda. I have to do this. Where am I going? Make sure I call her. Remember, I just the other day did the browsing the Sunday newspaper, and I always get to the obituary and figured out that that must be the day they did the obituaries in the Sunday newspaper. And I saw the last name, the same last name as our Mexican neighbors from across the street from my childhood. And it's not a familiar, it's a very unique last name. You don't hear a lot of it, but it's definitely a Mexican last name. I need to call her because it may be her aunt or her relative. And we just kind of got together recently. This is kind of cool. I was just a few years old back in the 60s when we moved to my childhood home in San Susana. So as an adult, when I think back on my two childhood friends from the street where I grew up on, both of those families still live there. The parents still live in their houses. My parents don't. They've moved a couple times since then. And so, both of those girls, one girl is exactly my age and the other girl is 1 year older. But we were childhood friends. Oh my goodness, we had all our growing up years together. And then when I turned, right as I was turning 16 or 17, we moved to a new home in the same town, same city, just on the other side of the town. And that was fun for me. But the cool part is all these years, we kind of stayed in touch. But it wasn't until last year that this is really cool. The one friend I had always stayed in touch with because it was just easier for some reason. Her mom and my mom still stay in touch. Somehow it was easier. But the Mexican girl across the street, we would still stay in touch, but we didn't have their current phone number. We would have to actually go to their house to get the phone number. We just never did that. So one day, you always think about chance meetings. Listen to this. I have a sister who's way younger than me. So here's my friend Linda working at Starbucks in the mall. And my sister, this was last year, who had just had a baby, she's in the mall shopping, and she goes up to the counter to order. And Linda says, huh, and she totally recognizes her. And my sister was floored and realized that it was her, that was Linda. She says, oh my goodness, how did you know it was me? And somehow she knew it was her because of her eyes were the same. And I'm completely floored because the last that Linda had seen of my sister, she wasn't even in kindergarten yet. And she may have seen her a handful of times after that. With parties and little get-togethers and stuff. So that, if you don't think that was a fun chance meeting, so immediately my sister said, guess who I saw today, and I have their phone number, you're never gonna believe it. And we were just so happy. So all three of us, myself, Linda, and the other friend from our childhood growing up, we all one afternoon met at the mall. And my one friend, her mom came, and sharing fun memories. Oh my goodness, I just thought of that. Awesome. In fact, I should call her today. I just thought of the best video, you guys. You guys will flip. My other friend's mom is I'll remember this memory forever. I was in grammar school. Her mom is like a natural born intellect, but also a natural artist. The artistic stuff she's done, in every, painting, drawing, ceramics, knitting, crochet. She's like an artist in every single thing. She, back in the day, and this is when I really struggled in school, and I had a really terrible time with English, math, and reading in grammar school. I'm amazed I ever got through the grades. She would read, her favorite was science fiction books. She would read paperback science fiction books by the box loads. I remember her saying, yeah, I gotta take this off to the library. Or yeah, we have to have a garage sale. And when we were recalling childhood memories, I'd say, remember all those books you used to read? And my friend and mom laughed and said, used to. She still reads books. And she still has all those books. And I remember, I told her, oh my goodness, can I have a box of those books? I love going through old books. I'll never read them, but I love to go through it, and I'll give them back to you. And she could care less. But I'm thinking, how fun would that be to go through those old books? And I thought they were kind of old books when she was reading them in the 60s. I can't think of the guy. Who's the guy, the founder of Scientology? I'm getting the names all mixed up. He's a science fiction guy, but I always think of like the guy from Scientology founder. I have to do that today. I have got to do that. I am so bad about writing notes and then losing the note paper. Are you guys awake still? So, the reason I said you guys would like it, because it would be like we would have a video of going through all these old books. Oh my goodness. It would probably take forever because I'd be browsing through each book, smelling it. The other thing I think would be kind of cool is, I know we've met in the mall, would be to go back to her house. They're living in the same home on the street where I grew up as a kid. And I would go over to her house, I don't know how many times, went over to their house to play. Oh my goodness. Now that, in my mind, would be the best childhood memory, to go over there and actually go in the house. It's kind of funny because when we drive by, is this the same thing for you? Everything looks so teeny tiny small. And when I was a kid, it looked so big. And I think that's probably that way with everybody, because, you know, we're little, and the whole world is like a big thing for us. And I'm amazed. So many good memories, and I know it was just stereotype. It was a tract house. Back in the 60s, everybody had huge yards, huge front yards, huge backyard. And then the fun part was, when I recall and look back on all the jobs that the dads were doing. My dad was an airline pilot. He started off a mechanic and moved up to be an airline pilot. Then, early 60s, and the guy across the street worked for the car place over in the valley. I think it was General Motors. Who are the big two? Ford. The other one is General Motors. I think in the valley they had a huge, in Van Nuys they had a huge auto plant, and he worked there, and he always had the best cars. Oh my goodness. And so my dad was an airline pilot. He was the auto worker. Next door, neighbors, had 4 kids. that he went from being, he worked as a butcher in a grocery store. He made really good money, I guess. Butcher in a grocery store. The butchers is, I think they're a separate union. I'm not sure. He went from being a butcher, then he went on to the police force. That was kind of cool. That was really cool. Oh, yeah, like a police officer next door, like, but nobody really knew it. He was like undercover, so that was kind of cool. It was in the 60s. And then next to him, my other friend, well, next door, they were friends, but they had 4 boys and 1 girl, and the girl was a lot younger than myself, but it was still like a good childhood friend. Then my other friend, her dad was a carpenter, and at the time he worked for a little carpenter wood shop business over in the valley, and then he still has this little shop, but now he's the owner. He's still a carpenter. Isn't that cool? Are you guys awake still? Well, if ever there was a rambling video of mine, this one is definitely rambling. That's for sure. Okay, so they're only going to have like a week or so left of actual tickets that they're giving out at the store. May 9th is the last day of tickets, or May 9th, unless they run out first. So I got myself panicked for no reason. I thought I had to have all my coupons placed on the game board to see if I won or lost by May 9th, which I'm thinking this will never happen. But so the tickets end on May 9th, but you have till May 30th to get your game board together and present it as a winner or a non-winner. So I feel better now. What are we gonna do after I win? After I win $200 million in prizes and money. Saving. I don't want a money saving offer. I want the house. I think like one of the main. There's a little game board. I guess it's in the other room. I think one of the prizes. I know the cars. I think it's a house. I'm not sure, but that'd be fun. There's my little trash stash. Are you guys awake still? You know what's kind of funny? Like last year, I started thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever to do a 60-minute video. And you know what's funny? Here we are. I don't know if you've noticed lately, but I'm able to get 75 minutes. I've been doing a lot of 75-minute videos, like an hour and 15 minutes. And it's kind of cool because I don't even know. It seems like it goes by so fast. when, like, not even a year ago, I was thinking, oh my goodness, it's going to take forever to do a 60-minute video. So now I'm here doing 75-minute videos, and it goes by like so fast. It's like a piece of cake. Like the thought of sitting down to do an hour or 75-minute video is like nothing. Piece of cake. Oh, I'm doing it on the boring side. I should be doing it on this side. Let's see. Quaker oats, oat bar, granola, Quaker maple and brown sugar. Zantac. Irish Spring. Cocoa squeeze. Applesauce. Applesauce on the go. Never heard of that. Perrier drinking water. What is this one? Chobani. Yogurt flip. What's Chobani flip? Because it's a new yogurt. Maybe you flip, instead of eating it out of the cup, you flip it upside down in your bowl, and maybe that's what it is. I don't know. And what is this one? Ballpark beef franks. Oh, those are delicious. I've had those before. Yeah, I've been doing it on the boring side. Maybe when I open them. Oh, that'll be fun to open them. Or double stuffed Oreos. See, I don't get it. So here's the thing about that. I have a thing of Oreos. So what does that mean? You think there's a coupon in here, but no. When you open it, there's always a coupon. But this one is for fruit bowls or Dole fruit bowls or pouches. And then the little stickers have nothing to do with Oreos. So, do they just have these things on here too? Do they just have these on here to just put a thought in our head and say, oh, I gotta get to the store and get Oreos, or I have to get there and get a Dr. Pepper? Oh, that is true. I do love Dr. Pepper. Like my runner-up go-to soda would be Dr. Pepper after Coke. Diet Dr. Pepper after Diet Dr. Coke. Here we are. Marinara sauce, Banilla, Perilla, Hillshire Farms, Polish. I always think of Polish sausage. Hillshire Farms. What is this? Pete's Coffee. That's pretty good. Have you guys ever had Pete's Coffee? I see it a lot of time on sale at Target. Pete's Coffee. Another marinara sauce, Barilla. Are you guys awake still? This will probably be a 90-minute video. I'm already past 75 minutes. What is this? This is gold. Oh, these things scare me. These little goldfish. they're such like a bright orange color. I wonder how much food coloring they put in there. I've thought about that. Unless that's supposed to be like cheese crackers and that's the color of the cheese. I don't know. Is it on tip? Oh my goodness. Frosted Flakes. I haven't had Tony the Tiger and Frosted Flakes in ages. Another Irish Spring. Let me see, before I get too carried away here, let me see. This one I opened, okay. So we've already opened these. We got that. And then we've also opened these. I got that. Oops. There's that. And then here's some little loose pieces because some of them came apart. Alright. So I got all those. So when I finish this, I'll have them all clipped. Here's Folgers. Chicken of the Sea. Every time I see Chicken of the Sea tuna, you know who I think of, don't you? Jessica Simpson from back in the day when she was married to Nick Lachey. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. I don't know if it was a reality show or what was going on. Is this Pirate's Booty? And she says, Chicken of the Sea. They show Charlie Tuna. I believe it's, yeah. Or maybe not. You know what? I don't see Charlie Tuna on there anymore. It's just like nothing. There's a mermaid. It looks like a mermaid, blonde-haired mermaid, I think. Used to be, I thought, like a Charlie Tuna, like some kind of fish or something. She says, how is this tuna? It's Chicken of the Sea. A chicken is chicken. And honestly, I had to tell you that after she mentioned it, I thought, yeah, why do they have that name? Chicken of the Sea, if it's tuna, if it's a fish. So I do not know. I still do not know the reasoning behind calling it tuna chicken of the sea. Alright, so here we are. So the next process here will be, better be sure to call my sister. Tell her I'm getting on a roll with it. And that goes in the trash. These need to come on. I need to undo these. Like this. Now they're all going the same way. I get so much done at my little table talk time. Let's see. So here's another one for Oreos. Oh my goodness. Is this my coupon or what? 50 cents off Ritz crackers. I better use that one. That's my go-to. In-store coupon. You know what's upsetting though? You have to use, these are all from Vaughn's. You have to use your coupon at Vaughn's. And the truth is that I could go and get that same box of Ritz crackers Peppers at like Walmart or Target someplace and pay way even more. They get 50% cheaper if I'm buying it there. Does that make sense? Anyways. Dr. Pepper. Oops. There. So you have to figure out however many tickets I have, multiply them times 4. That kind of does make the next step like very interesting. I wonder if you guys would be interested to see how I'm able to do this. Peach coffee. Ritz crackers. Ritz crackers. Oreo. Cookie. Smart Fruit Delight. Popcorn. Sea salt popcorn. Right. Okay. Dr. Pepper. Let me see. So does that mean that all of the Dr. Pepper ones have this? Let me see something here. I might be saving myself trouble. Ritz. No. No. I guess they just have all different food and drink showcased on the outside just to get your, see if they can entice you. You might see something you like. Yeah, that's what happened when I saw the Oreo. Like, oh my goodness, I need to get Oreo. Advertising is so sneaky. Stouffer's. Another Dr. Pepper. Heinz ketchup. Then they also have, if they don't have an in-store coupon, they have like a game ticket. This is you go to the Monopoly online, you enter your code, and you can play the online game. So I don't know. We've never done that. I don't know if the online game is a whole other thing. Let's say Country Crop, Danimals, Smoothie Yogurt, Brawny, paper towels. Oh, an instant winner for one fresh donut or bagel. Oh, they're from their bakery. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get, I know what I'm getting. In fact, this is terrible. I'm gonna get a glazed donut. You guys know I'm addicted to glazed donuts, right? My mouth is watering already. That's terrible. No, that doesn't go to that. Let's see. I messed this one up, I think. Those two don't go together. Just take this off to the... Those are two separate ones. Now... Oops. I love the instant winners one. Let's see. Oh, excuse me, American greeting cards. Coupon for hash browns, Italian salad dressing, American greeting cards, Jimmy Dean sausage. Are you guys awake still? Jimmy Dean sausage. Hampshire Farms. Lysol. Reese's peanut butter cup. Heinz tomato ketchup. Oops. Oh no, this one has juice on it, I think. Band-Aid. Cat litter coupon. Let's see. I think I need to fix this. Alright, so coupon stuff goes on this side. Coupon online. Are you guys awake still? Pete's Coffee. Lysol. Ninja Turtle. Flex 5 Big Shaver. I'm so excited about this donut. Instant winner donut. Vance White toothpaste. These little goldfish. Ballpark beef rings. Brownie paper towel. Marinara sauce. Barilla marinara sauce. What is that? Good to go. Juice. This has been fun, you guys. What is this? Green Giant. Baby Brussels sprout. Arm & Hammer Advanced White toothpaste. Oops. That's right. C, just the C. That's putting, I want a Three Musketeer bar. Oh, an instant winner. Pasta. Sorted pasta. I'm excited.